Great to have with us Madonna Thompson, head coach at Shelton State. And coach, we've been doing games for years where Madonna Thompson and Shelton State is concerned, but I don't think we've ever sat down and talked before. So 700 wins is a good spot to have a conversation. Congratulations, by the way.
Well, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it.
I want to go back. I'm going to resist the temptation to jump ahead where your career is concerned, and I want to go back, way back to high school. What got you involved in basketball, period, to begin with? You had a very successful career at Collinwood. What started it all?
I mean, it's just there wasn't a whole lot to do in Collinwood, Tennessee back in the day. No cell phones. I didn't have a TV in my room. I really didn't have anything else to do. And fortunately, my parents had a large concrete pad and put a basketball goal up, and it started at the basement of my house. And I went to a school where sports were really pushed. Back then we only had basketball and cheerleading for the girls. That was it. And so it wasn't a hard decision for me. So I just started young, and my parents got me involved in the YMCA in Florence, Alabama, because Florence was right down the road and, had more opportunities for sports. So I started playing basketball at the YMCA in Florence. And then a lot of my friends that were playing basketball started playing soccer too. So I hooked on with them and played basketball and soccer at a very young age.
So there wasn't a parental influence. There wasn't a parent. There was a coach that automatically you're following the game.
No, but now my parents did play. Even my grandmother played. I don't know if you've ever been in my office, but I've got my grandmother's high school picture hanging on the wall back from 1950 something. I can't even remember the exact date. But yeah, I mean they all played, but no one coached. And I guess that's a blessing now looking back that they were just cheerleaders. They just let me play, and that was it. I loved it, and kind of just they drove me everywhere I needed to be, and just supported me, and basically were cheerleaders, not coaches, cheerleaders.
Obviously, successful career in high school. As a matter of fact, recognized a year ago in that your number was retired there at Collinwood. Did that take you by surprise?
It did take me by surprise because I thought I was going to something. My niece plays volleyball, and they told me they were doing something with the volleyball team at the basketball game. So I went and had no clue, left out of here, and got there and sat down, and they started announcing, and all of a sudden my basketball team from here at Shelton State walked in the door, and I was absolutely surprised, shocked. No one let me know anything about it. I mean, it was total surprise. And they all came in, and so they were excited about their big trip to Collinwood. But yeah, it was a total surprise to me.
What number did you wear in high school?
Number 10.
Now, 12 at Alabama, right?
Yes. When I got to Alabama, someone had 10, so I swapped over to number 12.
And when you go to Alabama, you are a 4-year starter at guard. You play on the 1994 Final Four team there at the University of Alabama. So that success just continued to follow you. At what point did you realize that you wanted to be a coach?
Well, I got, when I was in college, I love playing basketball, love being on the team. They made me pick a major. And so I picked speech language pathology because my mother was like, we can never find a speech pathologist in the schools. Why don't you look into that? So I walked in there and I was like, I'm going to be a speech pathologist. So I got my master's degree in that and got a job and worked in that field for about almost 2 years. And it was a good job, and I loved the people I worked with, but it was just something was missing, and it was basketball. I was still going in the afternoons, gym ratting here and there at local high schools, and I just missed it. And so I called Rick Moody, the guy I played for at Alabama, and it was like, I'd like to get into maybe coaching. And so he threw some opportunities at me, high school. There was a college job, and there was a Shelton State job. And I interviewed for this. It felt right, and I took it. Been here, 26 years. But that was kind of the deal. I missed it. Like it was just something that I love to do. I love to be around the game. I love to watch the game. And, the only coaching experience was in graduate school when I coached the first group of girls that came through Holy Spirit High School when they were in the 7th and 8th grade. So I coached the middle school team. And like I said, that was the first graduating class of Holy Spirit High School because they added the high school. So that was it. And so I came in here and it was a shock when I walked in first to junior college because, I had been, through a very strict program at Collinwood High School. I'd been through a very strict program at the University of Alabama. And then I came in here and strictness was just not a part of anything. So, it just took me time and, just started had to recruit the kind of kids that I wanted on the team. And I just went from there and you just learn by experience.
Well, Coach, it couldn't have taken too particularly long because you have a 700 and now 2 and 148 mark. That's an 83% winning percentage. I don't know what your early years were, but you had to be winning quickly to have that kind of mark. So, how do you make that transition to coaching from the standpoint that a great basketball player does not necessarily a great coach make, but you have transcended into the coaching realm and done equally as well at coaching as playing. So, how did you make that transition?
Well, first of all, I just have an innate hate for losing. I've played basketball, played soccer, and I've always been on winning teams, whether it's high school or AAU. We won a national championship. My 16 and under basketball team won the AAU national championship. Won a state championship in high school. I mean, just always used to being around winning. So that's really all I've ever known. Went to Alabama, we won. I mean, we won 20 plus games every season. Sweet 16, Final Four, all of that. So it's just, it's just something that becomes a habit is winning. And you're going to figure it out. If you want to win that bad, you're going to figure it out. Even if you have a little less talent, even if you've got, an injury or whatever, you just have to figure it out. And I guess that's the main thing. I just hate losing. So I just try to figure out how to win. And, but I've been blessed with a lot of great kids. I mean, I was very fortunate with recruiting and finding some of the right kids to come in and turn the program around. I mean, my second year here, we did win the conference championship and made a Final Four, and it was Division II back then. But I was fortunate, and from there, when you're winning, it'll attract more winners, and before you know it, it's just one group recruits the next group, and it just continues from there.
I got to ask, and this may sound like a rhetorical question, but to me, it's not. Um, which do you like better, winning or not losing?
Not losing. I think it's just not. I just, and then when you get to the point that we're at now, like a conference loss is like someone's conference championship. So it burns a little bit more now when you do have a loss. So I just can't stand to lose. I can't stand to think that someone has out coached me, out prepped me, out recruited me. It's a horrible feeling. It happens, but I try to really reduce those occurrences.
Would one want to be around Madonna Thompson after a loss?
Yeah, I'm not real happy when we lose. Now, every once in a while we'll meet somebody like, I will say the last loss that we had to Gulf Coast. I mean, that was a good basketball team. I mean, they just came out and the inside game. I mean, it was obvious there was a high major Division I basketball player on the floor, and their shooting ability was just, I mean, they just shot the lights out. So, the kids never quit competing, which is the one thing I can always say when we do take losses. It's not because we quit competing or trying or working our tails off. But that last loss, kind of with the locker room, and you're like, dang, they were just really, really good. They're either number 2, or number 3 in the nation.
You have played or coached 850 games now. You've won almost, if not 20 conference championships. You've been year in, year out, seemingly to the national championship, into the Final Four where the national championship is concerned. So, what is it that continues to motivate you to coach the game? I mean, do you ever get tired of it? Is there points in which you say, man, I'm burned out, I got to take a break? Or is it just full steam ahead? And if so, how?
Well, I mean, I always think, players and coaches sometimes will hit a little burnout spot. But when I mean a burnout, I mean I need a weekend off, or I need a trip to the beach. But as far as a burnout where I don't want to do it anymore, no, I've never reached that. I mean, I can't, no, I've never even thought about that yet. Now, obviously, I do think about retirement and the future and all that. But my burnouts are I need a weekend off, I need a day off. And it's not just the basketball or the kids are coaching, but the recruiting really, really wears on you at the junior college level because half of your team or over half of your team graduates and leaves, transfers every year. So it's a constant recruiting battle. So, the burnout with me happens, but I need a weekend off, a day off, or maybe I just need to go down and stick my toes in the sand, something like that. But the burnout is not something where I want to get away from the game of basketball. No.
Let me ask the question that I hear very often when Madonna Thompson comes up in sports circles, and that is, why aren't you somewhere else? Why aren't you at the Division One? I mean, I know there's been opportunities. So, what has kept you at Shelton State, or kept you from going on?
Well, I mean, the one thing is I know I can win here. And I've got to be in a situation where I can win. They always say the grass isn't always greener. I've had a lot of my colleagues or whatever get opportunities early on and things not go well. And then they end up in real estate or something like that because, maybe they're just not in the right school because it's not always your ability. Sometimes you just get stuck in a school that just this doesn't have it. The facilities, the money, the town, the promotion of women's basketball. And so I never wanted to get stuck in one of those situations where you can't win because those situations are out there where colleges, you just can't win at them. They don't do it right. And I just didn't want to be one of those. I wanted to have a long career in the game. I did want to make an impact. And I do think this level I've been able to make an impact with the winning, with the players, and seeing these kids go on and get the opportunities after Shelton State, the opportunities that I got to continue playing and to get a free education. So I just think it's fit me right now. Would I say that I would never move on? No, I have hit my the number I needed to hit for retirement in the state of Alabama. So I'm a little more relieved with that, obviously. So would I take an opportunity? Yes, but it had to be the right one because I'm not just going to take an opportunity that's not going to be a place where you can win because I'm not going to be miserable for any amount of money or any title.
Is the right opportunity at a four-year institution or a D1, or is it a matter of you'll know the right opportunity when it presents itself?
Well, there's such a battle right now when a job does come open. I mean, there's so many applicants, and you would think it would be kind of easy to get some jobs, but it's not. A lot of times it's people recruit from within. You never know what athletic directors are thinking. There's a lot of hiring of friends or people they know. So you just really never know what's going to happen with some of these jobs at the next level. But would I be willing? Yes, I would definitely be willing for the right situation.
Do you have a goal as far as wins? I mean, right now it's 702. I mean, is there 1,000 wins before you leave the game, or is there 1,500 wins before you leave?
No, I would say the only goal I have right now is to win the rest of them. That's it. My only goal is win the rest of them. I don't know how many that's going to be. I don't have a specific goal as far as a number. It's just win the rest of them until I retire.
One last question, and I'm stepping aside from
Okay.
basketball. not everybody knows that you're a big Coke fan. I mean, you like Coca-Cola. You've got all kinds of Coca-Cola stuff. You got a Coca-Cola room at your house. I mean, how did that happen?
I I don't know. I just like the red, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I've first thing you see when you walk in my front door is somewhere in the 50s, 51, I think, to 55 Coke machine that I've had fully restored. And so yeah, you can pop a dime in it and get you a glass bottle Coke out of it right when you walk in the door. So yeah, I've just got a few things, I mean, Chuck Smith over in Americus, Georgia, and the store he operates. And I did a little business with Chuck, and I got a Coca-Cola lollipop sign that's in a corner, and just some other odds and ends that I've got around the house at Coke. I just when I see something I like, you know, there's no specific rhyme or reason why I buy it. It's just if it looks neat and it's a little historical and has some, history to it.
So every Coca-Cola item doesn't necessarily grab your attention. It's just specific
Exactly.
things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a great career. And we have, from this end of the game, the broadcast end of the game, thoroughly enjoyed watching your teams. I love your style. I think you were up
Like,
by 50 the other night, and you were still, pounding away at your players to do things right. You're a delight to watch, and we thank you for what you do for the game.
well, thank you. And thank you for all that you do for the basketball world and going out and promoting and videoing all the games so that the parents and fans can watch.
Well, Coach, thank you. And let's talk before you get that 1400th win.
Okay.
All right. Thanks,
Let's make
Coach.
a date on that.
All right.